Scott Wetzel is not for everyone. For instance, sane people who can easily tell right from wrong or strongly urge to change the channel. Doctors Radio declared listening to Scott Wetzel can be hazardous to your health and can cause sickness, strokes, or wanting to take long walks on short piers. Feelings of agitation, dizziness, depression, frustration, and cold sweats are common when listening to Scott. You can have a bad reaction, such as confusion, redness in the face, teeth clenching, fist pounding, wanting to put a fork in your eye, and feeling the need to throw your radio out the window. Listeners have also reported increased swearing, trouble sleeping, and a strong desire to gamble. Truckers and drivers are urged to stay away. Learn from Jack from Arkansas. As for women, don't even think about it.
Oh no, my nipples clearly got erect.
You've been warned. Now, here's your host, Scott Wetzel.
And welcome to the Scott Wetzel Show, right here on FanstreamSports.com, the home of yours truly, Mr. Vegas. Ah, yes, here for the next glorious hour and a half, 90 minutes or so. 13 straight wins for the Red Sox and counting. How about that? Open Championship, World Cup, D-Day perhaps for LeBron James, Skattebo, the scatterbrain, more WNBA issues, 4-point field goals in the NFL, protected services my ass, or species my ass, Michael Jordan versus Larry Bird. The debate continues. We'll get to all those stories, plus emails, tweets, some YouTube chat as well. So it should be a busy, busy Monday. What's going on, LLs, LWs? How are you on this Monday afternoon? Beautiful here on Long Island, I must say. For a late July day, the temperature's right around 75, maybe 80 degrees today. I mean, this is, if you wrap it up in a bottle and save this would be your typical day, right? But unfortunately, we can't. So in fact, we got rain in the forecast all day tomorrow and Wednesday as well. So enjoy it while we have it, as the saying goes. Great weekend in sports. I must say, as much as I despise soccer, I kind of miss it. We got spoiled with having something going on, in the afternoon. It's as goofy as it is, as boring as it is something to bet on, something to just have on the TV set, making some chatter in the background, seeing players flop left and right. Oh, how are we going to now not be able to watch players fake injury? We don't even have we don't even have the NBA to fake injuries, right? Or fake fouls anyway. So, what are we going to do for the next, 3.5 years before we start another World Cup without seeing all these fake injuries? But anyway, still plenty to get to, including the World Cup. We'll start with why not? Golf? No. Football? No. Basketball? No. Maybe LeBron James announces today. I think it's either coming today or tomorrow. The debate with Michael Jordan. We got some football notes with, dopey Tom Brady. What is he doing? But no, let's start with baseball. They're not going to bury the lead today. How about our beloved Red Sox? 13 straight wins. Hey, this is like comical. That's their longest streak. Ties for their second longest streak ever. 13 wins. I mean, this team that might not even make the playoffs when everything is said and done, let alone win the World Series, and they tie the franchise record for their second best winning streak, 13 straight games. Never saw this coming. I mean, it's amazing. I thought at the beginning of the year they were going to be good. I got a ticket on them, $100, 17-1, that I was all ready to rip up. Another example how you never rip up your tickets, right? So not that you can physically rip up a ticket on a computer, but you know what I mean. Emotionally, it was done. And you know what? That's going to be a lost $100. So let's go bet on the Yankees. Let's bet on Tampa Bay. We'll take a flyer on this team or that team to try and recoup our losses, right? And here we are, July 20th, and the Red Sox are right there. They are right. It is amazing. Are they going to win like the remaining 70 games? No, obviously not. But you know what? They're only 6 back now thanks to a 4-game sweep at Tampa Bay. And every little hurdle that they've had to face in this streak, they've been able to overcome it, whether it's, beating the Yankees in 4 straight. And that's really the start, right? They went 3-3 in a not a West Coast, but it was who they played, Chicago and Colorado, or Seattle and Colorado, right? They go 3-3. 14 games under 500, just laying around, doing nothing, right? No reason to think that things are going to change. They host the Stankies, who at that time was playing decent baseball. They sweep them in 4. All of a sudden you think, okay, maybe, just maybe. But then they lose 2 out of 3 to Washington at home. And you're thinking, all right, forget it. It was a little tease. I'm not buying in, just a little tease. Let's enjoy the fact we swept the Stankies, right? And then from that point on, they have not lost. And every little obstacle that's been thrown their way, like they never, as I told you last week, they never win in LA against the Angels. Never. and they swept the 3-game series. They never beat Chicago. Even at home, they don't beat the White Sox, let alone in Chicago. And they follow the Angels series with a 3-game sweep of the White Sox. And then they go to New York and beat the Mets, who, whatever, it's the Mets. Nothing really crazy there. They're a last-place team, I get that. But still, they're a Mets team that's, still trying, right? So they headed to the All-Star break winning 9 straight games and 12, 13 out of 15. Just like, wow. All right, but that's the All-Star break. Worst time in the world to have an All-Star break. Out of all the teams, that this is the team you wouldn't want to have a break, right? Because they're playing so well, and they think that would stop things. Then they open up the second half of the season, and not only do they beat Tampa Bay 4 straight, they beat Tampa Bay in a doubleheader, which is never easy to do, and still are able to win the next game, which is never easy to do after that. And they end up sweeping a 4-game series. And here they sit with a 13-game win streak. I mean, it's just, we go up to the Fenway Park once every 2 or 3 years. We go see a game in that ballpark. My daughter went to Boston College for grad school, so it was a little bit more often when she was up there. But every couple of years we go up there, right? And I thought about this year, but whatever, that they stink. Even though it's a good time to go see a ball game, as far as seats go and affordability and everything else. In fact, last time we went, we got a baseball, believe it or not. So I wrote it off. Nah, they stink. We won't do it. And now here we are, 3 weeks later, and 2 weeks later, whatever. And I'm thinking, all right, let me check the schedule here. Let me see, how things working out. I can't go in July. Unfortunately, in August, everything's kind of back. It was a weird schedule for the Red Sox this season. So there was a 3-game series against the A's and a 3-game series against Chicago that, in first week of August. Maybe I could do that. And then they're not really home again until later in the month. So anyway, point is, they're back in play. They're back in play. It's amazing. Just didn't expect it. Not only did they beat Tampa Bay, they outscored them 28-10. They had a great comeback Saturday, which they're down 6-3, seemingly okay, it's over, no big deal. And then they rally and they win that game. They're getting great pitching. They're getting hitting now, and they're a dangerous club. And if you look at their schedule, Red Sox fans, as we know you all are, they got a 3-game series against Baltimore starting tonight. And the Orioles are playing better. They've won 7 in a row. So they're gaining ground themselves. But I don't think they're really that good. But, okay, tough series, semi-tough. It's the Orioles. Then they got a 3-game series at home against last-place Toronto. Then they go on the road and have a 4-game series against the last-place A's. So their next 10 games are against clubs that are in next to last place or last place. They do have a 3-game set against the Dodgers in L.A. after that. But then they come back home and they have a 3-game series against the White Sox, 500 team, nice little club. But then they got the A's again, and they got the last place Blue Jays for a 4-game series. I mean, their next basically 20 games outside of a 3-game set against the Dodgers are against last place or next to last place teams and the White Sox. So, I mean, point is they could really continue this thing. Again, are they going to win every single game? No, it's got to come back to the means here a little bit. I understand that. But for a season that was lost, if the hitting continues, then they went from literally 2 weeks ago to being absolute sellers. You want Sonny Gray, he's all yours. You want Aroldis Chapman, he's all yours. You want Jaden Duran, he's all yours. You want this guy, that guy, go ahead, take him, he's all yours. To now buyers. I mean, absolute clear-cut buyers. And you throw in, and this is really probably the main point out of all this stuff is the American League, as we all know, sucks. I mean, it just blows. I mean, you think about Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay has the best record still, despite losing 5 in a row, 4 to the Red Sox. They have the best record in the American League. Their odds to win the World Series, 18-1. When's the last time a team had the best record on July 20th in its respective league and was so little regarded, so just completely disregarded? 18-1 for your best team? It just goes to show how open, whether you're the Stankies, whether you're the Red Sox. Listen, if you're an Orioles fan, you're back in it. White Sox, Cleveland, hell, Minnesota's only 4 back. Seattle, Houston. Houston's like 50-1. they're only 4 back in their division race, let alone the wild card race. I mean, any of these, Seattle, Texas, any of these teams can catch fire. So it is amazing, how bad the American League is. And because of that, I said this on the podcast. If you looked at the odds, now again, you could get to the World Series and lose. I get that, right? But if you get to the World Series now, you could start hedging. This is not the old days with your local. You got to, I haven't quite come to that absolute conclusion yet, but this is not the old days with your local Louis to Lip. Whereas if you got the Red Sox and they get to the World Series at 27-1, man, I got to call up Louis. Hey, give me the Dodgers, even laying 4 or 5-1. He would send a guy with a billy stick at you. You can't do that. You can't middle your local Louis to Lip. You can't, but you can the computers. The computers basically embrace it by offering you these cash outs. So if you can get the team from the American League that goes to the World Series, you're holding on to a pretty fat ticket that, no doubt, you can either hedge or they'll offer you a buyout. Case in point, even Seattle is 11-1. American League, Yankees are still the favorites at 5-1 to win the World Series out of all the American League teams. Then it's Seattle at 11-1. Tampa Bay, like I told you, 18-1. Team with the best record in the American League is 18-1. Everybody after that, starting with Texas, is 25-1 or higher. Texas 25-1, Red Sox 27, White Sox 35, Detroit, which is not out of it, 50, Toronto, which might be out of it, but wild card race not really, 70, and even Houston, as I mentioned, 80-1. I think I said 50. They're 80-1. Astros are only a couple of games out of the wild card spot. With all those bad teams, who says they can't catch fire? So I would pick like 5 of those. Cleveland's 33-1. I mean, they're in first place, right? Second place? Second place behind the White Sox. 1 game back. 33-1 to win the World Series. Again, if you have that ticket and they're in the World Series, you would have lost the other 5, but you could start hedging or they'll buy you out. So Red Sox fans, enjoy it. We got a shot here. Tampa Bay begins a series with Toronto. It's kind of like do or die for the Blue Jays. Being 10.5 back, wild card. They're where are they? They're 4.5 back. So they got to do something over the next couple of weeks, Toronto. Otherwise, they'll definitely become sellers. But man, I never thought this was going to happen. I didn't see this coming. I really didn't. I'd given up hope. So 13 straight wins. Let's see how far they can take this thing. Open Championship, and we'll give some picks out a little bit later on. Open Championship, it's funny. I said this on the podcast. The headlines are golf, right? Ryan Fox, he wins the Open Championship. Congratulations, first major, this, that, what have you, right? But the debate, and this is how sports talk is, the debate is still probably Bryson DeChambeau on whether he cheated or not Saturday, right? So we'll give Fox his due. We'll talk about that, right? He birdies the final hole. He's playing like speed golf. Boy, if you were ever playing in a speed golf tournament, he would be the one, right? He basically, God bless him, right? Instead of these guys being so anal and taking out the books and seeing how far it is and doing the wind, blowing the grass up in the air, checking out the wind like it really freaking matters, right? And then reading the putts, taking an hour and a half to figure out where the putts are going left or right. This dude just basically walks up to the golf ball and hits it. Just, God bless him. It's hard not to root for a guy like that, right? So that's basically him. He birdied the final hole. And it looked like, watching it on TV, boy, it really looked like he missed. As I was watching the ball come down, at the very last 2 seconds, it started going left. And then at the very last second, it kicked back right and went into the cup. And he ends up winning the championship. So, according to one better on DraftKings, or according to DraftKings anyway, one better placed a $55 wager on Ryan Fox to win the championship. During round 1, 2,000-1 odds. I don't know what he was to start the tournament. He wasn't 2,000-1, but I'm guessing he was like 250, 300, 400-1. One of those guys, right? That better won $110,000. 110,000. And I started thinking, because I looked it up, his first round wasn't great. So the only thing I can think of is there was a guy out there that said, I'm going to take a flyer on 15, 20 guys. Maybe he's $1,000 better. I'm going to divide that $1,000 into $50 units. So I got 20 guys I'm going to place a bet on. And maybe Ryan Fox was one of those 20. And he forgot. I don't know. I'd have to really look it up if I'm that concerned about it. But I'm betting Ryan Fox teed off early. And this bettor, who's got the $55 on him, didn't realize that until he woke up at 9 o'clock in the morning and he realized Ryan Fox was already halfway through his round. And Ryan Fox, he was 2 over through 6, 1 over through 9, 2 over again through 12. So there was like nothing that he was doing in his first round that would have prompted some guy to say, yeah, that you know what, he's playing great. Let me take a hunch on him. Hence the odds going up to 2,000 to 1. So I'm betting that this bettor picked 20 guys, didn't realize Fox teed off already, and just made the bet, or said, you know what, I know he's 2 over, but I said, you know, he was going to be one of my guys, so let me just do it because I'll kick myself if this guy comes back and wins, and at least now I'm getting better odds. That's like, I don't think for a second one guy saw Ryan Fox in the first round be 2 over par, barely making the cut. The cut was +1. He was even through the second round. He barely made the cut, let alone win. So I'm guessing that's what that guy did. DraftKings has been doing this lately, just throwing out these bets that people make to entice you, to show you, hey, you don't have to bet a lot. But again, if you think that guy had one golfer and puts $55 on one guy and hit the bullseye, no way. No way. It's like those round robin parlays you see when guys have like 5, 6, 7, 8 legs, right, for $10 or whatever, and they win themselves, you know, $2, $3, $4, $5,000. They didn't have just one straight $10 parlay with 10 legs in it. They did a round robin. They picked 10 different teams and did a round robin of the combinations of all those teams winning, spent $1,000 and hit it that way. That's how these things are. So it looks a little bit more glamorous than what it is. Nobody put $55 unless it's a family member and then they just said, you know, what the fudge, I'll just do it, you know. But otherwise, no. That's what that's all about. So he did win. Congratulations. Gets his first major, gets himself on the map. I think people generally like him. Big guy, strong guy, fast golfer. I get the sense that the golfers like him. So, you know, a guy you could root for, right? Not a guy you could be rooting against. But, you know, really the debate over the weekend, and this is where the sports talk comes into play. So you spend like 5 minutes on Ryan Fox, give him his kudos, whatever, right? But the real debate back and forth that people can get their nuts, because who knows who Ryan Fox is, Scott? I mean, you know, nobody, right? But we know Bryson DeChambeau, and we know we play golf, and we know what the rules are and what you can and cannot do, right? So I'm going to come to his defense. Most people seem to think, okay, he may not have done it intentionally, and we're just trying to give him the benefit of the doubt because we're not in his mind. But if you saw the video and made an assumption that this was done, then it's like, yeah, he knew what he was doing, right? But you want to be safe about it. Just say, well, he didn't know what he was doing, but those are the rules. And that's why they have those rules. It doesn't have to be intentional because you don't want to be able to read people's minds. But I'm going to go the other way. I'll show you the video. Watch what he does and look at the video again. First off, before this video, there was another video out there that showed a good 10, 15 people stomping on the grass looking for his ball. So if you think when Bryson DeChambeau went up there and he knocked all the grass down, no. There were, like I said, I saw a video where there were a good 10, 15 people, just regular, you know, patrons looking around for his ball, stomping on the grass, right? So know that going in. Now watch what he does and think about what golfers do before they hit a fairway shot, right? What do? They walk up to their ball, grab their club, or caddy gives them a club, right? They stand behind the ball. Well, they look left, they look right, you know, see what's going on, see what's in front of them. They go to the side of the ball. Then they probably go back behind the ball again just to get another view of okay, this is what we're doing. And then hits his shot. That's what DeChambeau did. He didn't do anything differently than what he would normally do. You watch. I'll show you.
Look at the angle of that grass.
All right, so he's standing at the ball. So taking his little practice swings like he always does. And walks behind the ball, like he normally would. Getting rid of some weeds there. Little practice with his hand there. Nothing crazy. Right? Trying to step over the weeds. Gets back to the ball. Little practice swing. One more little practice swing. And boom. Now, how is that cheating? All right, he steps high and down. He's got to step high. The weeds are 1.5 feet tall. He can't walk normally, right? Now, here's the shot of like all these people. You can't see it too much with this one, but there's like another 10, 15 people all looking around for his ball over here. This guy seems to find it, pointing over this way. So, again, look what he's doing here. Nothing that he wouldn't normally do. Yes, he takes a step back. They always do. Right? Looks for the weeds. Tries to figure out where he's at. Not looking down. Steps high, which you may claim is stomping down on the grass, but it's not. It's just he's got to step high. And then he's going to take a shot. So that's the big step that they're looking at that says, okay. How do you expect him to golf, people? Right? If he's standing behind the ball, and I guess that he may have been behind the ball before and then went back again. But, you're not going to parachute down into your spot. You got to walk to your spot. You got to get behind the ball. Yeah, he took a high step there because, the weeds are 2 feet high. You can't walk normally. It's not like he's walking on grass. He's not on the green or the middle of the fairway. He's got to take these high steps. So that's number one. I don't think that's cheating. I really don't. If he's looking down on the ground and he's really stomping on it a little bit and he's making a clear pathway for his golf club to have a swing, okay, but that's not the case. That's just... And I'll tell you the other thing that really bugs me more than anything else is they didn't see that. Even though we have a camera of it. Somebody on TV watching, or someone watching on TV, called it in. And then they, looked at the video and said, oh, no, you cheated, you cheated. I say golf has got to stop this nonsense with people being able to call in. I mean, especially with the majors, right? Golf is a multi-billion-dollar operation. They got more money than God, for goodness sakes. You only have 18 holes, and what, 4 or 5 of those are par threes where you really don't need anybody, or maybe one person in case he goes way left, way right. I suppose you could use one person. And I'll give the benefit of the doubt. The other 13 holes, maybe you need 2, but that's 13 times 2. That's 26 times 5. Or plus 5 for the par threes. You need about 30 guys. 30 guys. Hey, you know what, guys? It's the Open Championship. It's a major, obviously. Joe Schmo, you're going to go on hole number 1. You're going to go about 225, 30 yards down the fairway. Okay? Guy Joe Schmo number 2, you're going to go all the way to the green. And you're going to be staying on hole number 1 the whole day. Same thing with hole 2, 3, 4, 5. What are we looking for? We're going to get great seats? Just look and see if someone cheated. That's all. Just look and be able to uphold the rules. Simple as that. Rather than have some, Joe Schmo drinking a case of, Schlitz at his dorm room or in his, hotel room or in his, house, calling in penalties. By the way, how the hell did he even get the phone number? If you told me to call in NBC right now, where would I get the phone? I don't know what the phone number is. It's not like they put it out on TV, right? So, but that's how the guy got caught. I mean, that is so stupid. Again, it's not about breaking the rules. It's about, Okay, if you want guys to stick to the rules, and so many rules are bland, it's not like they even said it. For whatever it is, I'll take them for the word. We don't think you did it on purpose, but those are the rules. Like, I don't, I know the rules, but that's such a borderline thing. Have some guy on the golf course say, you know what, you can't do that, Bryson. You make sure you get right behind the ball, because that came after he hit it, the penalty. I mean, like I said, you would get guys to do it for free. Just get on the fairway. Remind these guys about, if they're out of bounds, remind them about the rules. Hey, be careful, Bryson. You can't stop behind the golf ball. That's all you need to do, rather than having some loser on TV call it in. I mean, that's the dumbest thing in the world. I mean, think about that, right? We said this about soccer, and same thing with golf. Can you imagine having a rule where some guy is watching a football game and he says, you know what? I saw holding on that play. You're going to have to wipe out that 50-yard touchdown pass. Really? Where was it? It was on number 87. Oh, yeah. You know what? You're right. Okay. Penalty flag. Touchdown, no good. And by the way, we're going to do it after the game. We're not going to do it during the game or during the course of play. We're going to do it after the game and penalize you. No touchdown. So you thought you won 27-24? No, you lost 24-20. I mean, it's so dumb. Having an NBA game and then you sitting at to call it, or hockey or any of the other sports. It's so beyond stupid. Again, like soccer, some of the soccer rules, beyond stupid, right? It's just stupid. Same thing here. Having people be able to call it. Can't they have somebody, in studio? Even if you didn't want to put people on the golf course, right? For whatever reason, which I think is the simplest, to solve this thing, right? But okay, we can't find 30 people, Scott. I think you can, but all right. Stick one guy in the TV booth in New York, where everything is originated out of, and have him watch. Instead of relying on Joe Schmo from Topeka, Kansas, calling in NBC, have your own people. Have 2, 3, 4 people watching. Now, I know what you're telling me. Well, Scott, there's 5 different cameras, 10 different cameras. All right, so get 10 different people. It's not that hard. It really, you open yourself up to scrutiny by allowing people to call in for these fouls. It's beyond dumb. It really is. It's so stupid. So now in the end, did it matter? Probably not, right? One, Fox finishes up at 10 under par. DeChambeau finishes at 4 under. So there's a 6-shot swing. But then you might say, as I did, well, maybe he was 2, 3 shots back on the back 9, and he started really going for the pin, which caused him to bogey a few extra times. And so he ends up being 6 shots back. But in reality, if he was 1 shot back instead of 3, maybe that would have made a difference, right? But if you look at DeChambeau's final round, he triple bogeyed 11. That was just disaster. That was the end for him. And he actually birdied 13 and 14 and then parred the last 4 holes. So it's not like he had a rash of bogeys, at 14, 15, 16 as he's going for it. So realistically, he was within a couple of shots to start the round. He shot at 2 over 72. He fell even further back. Finished 6 shots back. He probably legitimately would have finished 4 shots back without the 2-stroke penalty. Maybe he would have got a little more conservative on the 11th hole, but it didn't cause him from winning. So thank goodness for that. If he finished 1 or 2 shots back after everything was said and done, or he did what I said, bogeyed the last couple of holes because he was going for it, because he was 2 shots back instead of being, tied for the lead. You talk about a huge story, huge. But I don't. We got to get Johnny on, and ask him that. Like, if someone in Topeka, Kansas, can call in because they're watching on TV, and that does happen, quite often, not every week, but it does happen. Why don't these tournaments just have someone in the studio watching on TV and looking for every infraction? If you want to be that anal about it, right? Crazy. So I don't think he cheated. I really don't. And, these rules are written with intentions in mind. Did he do something intentionally, even though we're going to say you don't have to intentionally do it? Because we don't want to have to prove that you intentionally did that, right? How could you really prove that? So they write it, you don't have to intentionally do it, but the notion is, yes, you do have to intentionally do it. And I just don't think he did. And I don't think he did anyway. I don't think he helped his cause any. You got 20 people searching for golf balls, stomping the grass down. I don't know why they want to bring the negative attention to themselves, but they certainly did. But anyway, he ended up not winning, and unfortunately, he didn't, I suppose. Although I would have loved to have seen him win and really, or lose by one shot anyway. World Cup, I tell you, I'll spend a minute on it here just because it was yesterday, but I didn't watch a second of it. I watched. Well, I was working the sports grid, so I couldn't watch the semifinal match. And yesterday, I was, I was going in the backyard. I was off. World Cup final, whatever. I'll find out who wins later on. And as it turns out, I didn't miss anything, right? No score regulation, no score after the first extra time. They get the goal. Spain does. They win the game. And I mentioned this on the podcast. Apparently, Spain, in the reporters' words, dominated play. And I say to myself, how could you dominate play if there's no score? Right? Are we forgetting the big picture? The big picture is scoring and winning the game, right? If it's no score, how are you dominating? You could be controlling the play a little bit more than the other team, or even a lot more. But if you're not scoring, you're not dominating. And I equated it to, a batter in baseball, right? He gets up and he has a 10-pitch at bat. And he's fouled all pitches left and right. And then finally on a 10th pitch, he strikes out. And you hear the announcers say all the time, boy, what a great at-bat that was. Like, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. He made an out. He struck out, or he grounded out, or he flied out. Would you rather have a 10-pitch ground out at-bat or a 1-pitch Texas League single at-bat? I think you'd go with the Texas League single at-bat, wouldn't you? That's a good at-bat. It doesn't matter how many strikes you have or how many foul balls you have or whatever the case may be. Same thing with soccer. I don't care if you had the ball, and in this case, Argentina didn't. You weren't scoring. You didn't dominate. You didn't score. And Argentina's been living this way the whole freaking tournament, being outplayed and then scored late and walk away with victories. So thank goodness it's over. I really just... I won't berate it. We've beaten it down. There's no sense talking about it anymore. It's just a dumb sport. It just is. I don't know how anyone outside of our country could look at soccer and say that's my favorite sport. I really don't. And I don't think there are that many in our country. And I think it's the foreign countries because they don't have football. They don't have real football. Some have basketball, some have baseball, some have hockey. So they have a few others, but not football. Like, NFL football is just a monster. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. If we put NFL football over in Europe, soccer would disappear. It would be like it is here. That takes a long, 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 long time. Long time, right? I'm talking 15, 25, 35 years because it's got to start grassroots. It's got to start in high schools. It's got to start with parents who appreciated NFL football and led their sons and daughters into football, not soccer. So it takes generations for that. It's not going to happen overnight. But if it ever did, I think they would realize how boring soccer is. It's just between all the goofy rules and all the fake injuries, the lack of scoring. Like they were talking about Saturday's game being one of the greatest World Cup games ever. Yeah. You know why? Because it was 6-4. It wasn't 1-0 boring like yesterday or like most soccer matches. You got goals. You had scoring. Create some rules that cause more goals to be scored. Eliminate the offsides first. That would be the automatic first rule I'd eliminate. Eliminate that stuff. Eliminate the fake injuries. As I told you before, you go down to an injury and it causes us to stop the game, you got to get off the field for 10 minutes. Simple as that. Simple as that. That would stop all that stuff. It's not that difficult. Create things that will create scores. And that's what people want. It's 2026, even in Europe, believe it or not. They want to see scoring. And that's why they said, like I said, Saturday's game, oh, the greatest. I was reading on the internet, oh, the greatest World Cup soccer game ever. Oh, first of all, neither team really cared because it was consolation. But yeah, it was 6-4. Create that. But they don't. So, but overall success. I must say, here in the States and Canada and Mexico that held games, people bought tickets. Remember all that yelling and screaming about how much tickets were, when they were holding back tickets and they were forcing you to spend a gazillion dollars for tickets, thinking those were the only tickets left, and then they would release more. Remember all that stuff? Here in New York, they were charging $200 for a train ride back and forth to the Meadowlands, which is literally 4 miles separated, really from point A to point B. A little bit longer, train ride and everything else, but literally 4 or 5 miles. They were charging $200. All the Trump stuff about the foreigners not being allowed in the country and all that other nonsense. All that got thrown out the window. It was fairly successful. Don't remember hearing about too many riots, which is really surprising to me, especially after we had the New York Knicks stuff here. With all the craziness that happened there. You didn't get that, so wasn't bad. All things considered. They were saying, we looked it up on Friday. Tickets were going for like 8,000 and 36,000. Supposedly, walk-in seats went up to as high as $10,000. And then hospitality seats, which are good seats, 60,000. That's not really, that's not that crazy. You get that for football games, believe it or not. Regular season football games, but 10,000 and 60,000. So if you had tickets, God bless you. You could be the biggest soccer fan in the world, but if you realistically could have, if you had 2 tickets, you want to take little Johnny to the game, right? Little Sarah to the game, whatever the case may be. And some guy, and you paid, let's say $300-400 each. Maybe you got them gifted to you, but we'll say $300-400. Let's say $1,000. You paid $1,000 for your tickets. Once in a lifetime thing. And some dude offers you $20,000. I'll even throw in cash. $20,000 cash for your tickets. Boy, that would be tough to say no to. That would really, no matter how much money you make 100,000, 200,000, 300,000-400,000. That 20,000 cash is a lot of money. You make $1 million, may not, but so anyone that did, God bless you. You're a luckier man than I am. That's for sure. I did not. I didn't even see where you could buy World Cup tickets. Way back when on the secondary market, yes, but not like a year ago. I'm guessing they put these tickets on sale. I mean, I don't even know when they actually started selling some of the tickets. So last thing with the World Cup, we'll put this all to bed. I still say Lionel Messi, which is one of the reasons why I can't watch them. It's so weird. Looks like Eddie Marsan. Who's he, you ask? If you're a Ray Donovan fan, as most of us, I think, are, right? You had Sopranos, and then he kind of like Sopranos went away, and then they needed another genre movie like that or series, and he picked it up. So it's on HBO. So he's got 2 brothers. This is the younger brother. Now, I'll give you a picture of Messi, right? Here's Messi. Hold on. All right, so boom. That's Messi, right? Okay. Look at his cheeks. That's the key. Look at his, like, kind of weird, right? All right, he's sitting there crying. Who cares about that? But this was the year where everyone was just like quitting, right? So here's Messi now, side by side with Marsan. I won't say dead ringer, but pretty close, right? I mean, they both kind of have that, like the high cheekbones and the same kind of, well, the nose is a little bit different, but the high cheekbones. Like, this is like a really, really, really good picture of Messi. He looks a little goofier than that. So every time I was watching an Argentina game, I'm thinking of Eddie Marsan and Ray Donovan. I mean, just if they ever did a movie on Messi, without a shadow of a doubt, he would be the guy. He would absolutely be the guy. Not dead ringers, but pretty darn close, right? Pretty. I still say Leonardo DiCaprio is a dead ringer for Ricky Fowler in golf. Like those two guys really, really look alike. These just kind of, but that same upper face definitely looks alike. So anyway, soccer is gone. Is it D-Day for LeBron? That is the question. This is the day that I had pegged. Boy, it's 2:41 already. Holy fudge. This is the day I had pegged for him to announce where he was signing. Let's see if he does. Got to take a quick little break. We'll get to that. We got gambling in the NFL with a story that I just don't believe. We got another star running back's house get burglarized. Did you see that? How about Tom Brady embarrassing himself? I mean, really, it's getting pretty bad. And protected species in the WNBA as we kind of go out on a limb on that. All that's coming up on the Scott Wetzel Show on this Monday, July 20th. Here it is.
Hi, golfers. IndyCar Tim here. I want to talk to you a little bit about Golf Central Magazine. It's not just a golf magazine. It's the magazine for everything. Turf, travel, philanthropy, and lifestyle. Head over to golfcentralmag.com and check out the latest issue. Some of the regular features in Golf Central Magazine: the Golf Bachelorette of the Month, the Golf Bachelor of the Month, the Golf Cart Girl of the Month, Golf History, Grip It and Sip It. So head over to golfcentralmag.com. It's free. It's the magazine for everything: turf, travel, philanthropy, and lifestyle. Golf Central Magazine at golfcentralmag.com. We'll see you there.
Hey folks, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center, a very different kind of approach to primary care. Personalized preventative medicine, not a one-pill-fits-all mentality. Christopher Lugo and his experienced medical staff are proactive in looking at issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. Rather than the impersonal, rushed approach, you will be the only patient and will have our full attention. That's new. Getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. Bay Area Modern Medical Centers are experts in anti-aging regenerative medicine that optimizes your body's performance in many areas. So call for an appointment to get started on a journey back to full health and a happy life with a new, modern way of healthcare. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com.
Today's show is brought to you by Tomstown, a premier craft distillery based in Kansas City, Missouri. Discover their award-winning lineup, including double oaked bourbon, botanical gin, and double grain vodka, named the best craft vodka by the readers of USA Today. Available for online delivery in 40 states. Visit toms-town.com or their Kansas City distillery to explore more. Elevate your game with Tomstown, where history meets innovation. Please enjoy responsibly.
Hello, folks. Let's talk a little bit about turf life. And what is turf life? It's pretty much if your life involves turf in any way, shape, or form, you live the turf life. Go ahead and brand yourself with the turf life. Maybe a back window decal, maybe a hat. You know where you can get those kinds of things to showcase that your life revolves around sports and or anything that involves sports. If it's a sports business or sports education or just your enjoyment of the outdoors, head over to turflifeclub.com. Become a turf head. Join the club today. You can do that by going to that said website that I just told you to go to. You can snag your window decal like I was talking about, or any of your other turf life accessories. Show everybody that you live the turf life, and we'll see you there over there at that turflifeclub.com.
Although it may seem tempting to go without health care insurance, the financial risk far outweighs the gain you may experience. For example, did you know if you simply broke your leg, it could cost you nearly $7,500? Put on top of that a hospital stay, you could be looking at $10,000 to $15,000. Ensuring that you don't go uncovered is so important, as according to CNBC, high medical bills are the highest contributing factor to why Americans end up taking money out of their retirement savings, or worse, find themselves filing bankruptcy. So go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. Now, depending on your income, you can get plans for zero premium. Our experts will guide you through the process effortlessly. They will shop many plans and find the one that's right for you. I called and I have full health coverage through Florida Blue for zero monthly premium. It's a free call. So why go uncovered? It's a huge risk. Go to Don'tGoUncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. That's 800-669-1505.
Orion Golf Management Solutions. Orion Management Solutions has tailored its service packages just like it tailors its approach to customers. Some owners need more supervision, while others need periodic assessment of their short-term and long-term strategies and programs. Orion can be called in to develop a business plan with the existing staff, or we can assist with the daily management of a facility or event. Either way, we make sure the client is satisfied and understands the direction the facility needs to go in order to achieve the owner's goals. Orion Management Solutions can help with owner assistance service solutions, daily course management, business plan development, monthly operations, or as-needed consulting services. Whatever your need, Orion Golf Management Solutions can help. Check out oriongolf.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back. It is the Scott Wetzel Show right here on FanStreamSports.com. FanStreamSports.com. That's the site. You go there and watch all the other previous shows if you want to. Feel free. I want to do a little YouTube chat. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe button, please. Doesn't cost you anything, obviously. We can go back and forth on our YouTube chats as we have with a couple of guys, including apparently, I'd like to verify this. Is this actually Pete in the Bronx? He's an old LL from the three-letter network days when I was hosting over there on Sirius XM. So, Pete, if that's really you, good to have you on board. We're getting new viewers and new listeners every single day. So that's a beautiful thing. Pete in the Bronx in the building. Let's see. 13 straight, as he points out, his fellow Red Sox fan. So it probably is Pete. Yeah, 13 in a row for the Red Sox. They just – wow, that is unbelievable. That really, I got to pinch ourselves. But now they got to keep it going. That's what puts them back into the ball game. Let's see. What else do we have here today? How about this one? Toastmaster. I can't see it as good as I can off. So let me do it off and then I'll pop it on. Off topic, you say to see bet to her. What is that? YouTube doesn't let me type to see, I guess. Needing the Chicago Sky yesterday at 15-1 was maddening. These WNBA players are so out of control. I'm not sure why YouTube wouldn't let you write what you wanted to write, but okay. They did. They came close. I didn't even think they would cover the spread, to tell you the truth. I liked Atlanta. I know Atlanta's been on an awful against the spread run, but they did win their last game in coverage, so I thought maybe they would turn it around. I saw Angel Reese got hurt in the game as well, which we'll get to here in a second. Let's see. I also know if these WNBA players try to force passes to teammates instead of taking open shots, maddening. Yeah, I don't think a lot of them are confident in their shooting ability. Although I'll tell you, there's a lot of high-scoring games in the WNBA. For 4 quarters, yeah, definitely. And then Michael, soccer sucks, good riddance. Okay. We'll kind of agree on that one. So, but today is the day that I say today or tomorrow. That's what I'm thinking. 3 weeks ago when we looked at the calendar, looked at the World Cup, figured, all right, he's going to wait till the World Cup ends. He's going to soak up all the attention and everything else. We said last week, we got the commissioner, ugliest white man alive, Adam Silver, talking about how, we're all waiting for LeBron to make the NBA schedule. And we showed him you really don't have to because all the teams he's considering on playing for, they're all good. So you can't go wrong scheduling them for some of these special days. But that's all feeding into his ego, and people we can't wait. Every time you go on Twitter, there's another GM or player begging for LeBron like he's, 26, not 50. But we'll see. We'll see if it comes out today or tomorrow, and if so, then I can say I told you so, I told you so, I told you so. But until then, I'm not going to buy into the rhetoric. I'm just not. So I will say, though, in the WNBA, I don't know if you followed the latest, but this is just one of my frustrating things. So Angel Reese, before yesterday's game, thanked the WNBA and Toronto head coach Sandy Brondello for apologizing for the comments she made a day or two earlier. They were playing, the Atlanta Dream was playing Toronto, the head coach, and there was a foul called. I won't bore you with the details, right? Because it doesn't really matter. But there was a foul on Toronto. The player for Toronto got hurt, got knocked to the ground by Angel Reese. Brondello, head coach in Toronto, was arguing with the officials, And she said out of frustration, protected species. Now, here's the weird thing, right? So I'm reading this story Friday after our show, and the initial story made it seem like they didn't want to say the word. So it said something like, Brondello called Angel Reese something pertaining to an endangered species. And I'm thinking, well, what word could that be? Something to an endangered species. What it can't be the N word. That's got nothing with endangered species. So what word pertains to endangered species that would be like an old what I mean, like I felt stupid like asking people like, what was this word? What did she say? But I hate to sound dumb, but what words did she say? Endangered species racially? I don't know. What were the words? So as it turns out, those were the words. What were? Endangered species. So as the head coach is arguing with the official, she said, Angel Reese, referring to Angel Reese as an endangered species, which I guess, her excuse was that that's a common phrase in Australia where Brondello is from. Now, she's been in the United States a long time. But whatever. All right. I'm an endangered species. Well, I don't know what that means. I don't care what it means. It's so stupid, Did the coach get a technical foul for saying such a dastardly thing? No. Did anyone on the bench go up in arms about, the thing she said? No. Did fights start about, having this phrase thrown at her? No. Nobody even know. No one knew. You know how they found out? Just like in golf. It was picked up on a microphone and somebody heard it. And that's how it all got blown into proportion, like it did. Head coach ends up getting suspended left and right. So, but I don't even care about that really. Whatever. I think this, open mic stuff is so stupid. But okay, whatever. Here's my problem with it all. What is so offensive about endangered species? What is that? I don't even know what that is. And somehow or another, that gets associated with a racist comment? Really? And that's what the black community is going to be all in the woke community. I wouldn't even label just black. That's what the woke community is going to be all up in arms about. That she said, oh my God, she said endangered species when talking about Angel Reese. I mean, are they alive in society, this woke community? What about all the N-words in basically every single freaking rap song there is? I mean, they use the N-word like it's an endangered species. It's every other word is the N-word. How about a black genre movie? You can't watch a movie about inner city without the N-word being used 1,000 times. No protest over that. No protest over the rap music song. How about a black video on X between athletes and they're all kind of talking with each other, which is kind of fun. We play a lot of them here, right? And they're throwing the N-bomb like it's nobody's business. Who cares? That's okay too. So it's okay in rap songs. It's okay in movies. It's okay in homemade videos. But, oh, my God, don't say endangered species. Oh, it's the end of the world. Let's fire, and tar and feather. It's so stupid. I'm telling you, if I was a black person, I would be so mad at the movie industry that portrays the same, stereotype over and over and over and over again. And about the music industry that throws the N-words out there like whatever, who cares? Videos between, like I said, players, saying N-word all the time, I don't get that. And I know what the response is. Well, a black person can say it, but the white person can't. Why? If it's so effing, so offensive, I don't get why the black person is allowed to say it. I can't think of, it's like, the C word with women, right? If there was one word that really is like, I think even worse than the N-word, for your fan base there, you might be able to, black person can get away with calling a black person the N-word. You don't see a female calling the other person the C word and getting away with it, right? Without knowing that that's serious fighting word, right? The C word is really, and that's what I mean. So why can blacks use the N-word, but women don't use the C word when they say it to each other? No, they don't, because that's crossing the ultimate line. So I wish I wish someone had the balls just to step up and say, yeah, I said protected species, endangered species, whatever the hell I said. It got nothing to do with she's being black. Nothing. The poor guy over at the 4-letter network that we always bring up because he used guerrilla tactics and got fired. And I know he sued and everything. This is about 8-9 years ago now with the tennis stuff with Venus Williams. So, sometimes, yes, Scott, you stand up and what happens? You still get fired, right? I get it. But I wish, the not woke community, the anti-woke community would just stand up and say, yeah, okay, we know it had nothing to do with race. It's just an expression she used. Deal with it. Just move on. Just move on. Don't let all these dopey little groups who are minority, not minorities, but are a small number, and let them dictate life. Like I just, in our industry, that's like somebody calling up and saying, all right, Scott Wetzel's no good and blah, 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 blah. And he said this and he said that. And the general manager or the production manager, whatever, fires me or suspends me. It's like, that's one guy. It's one guy out of a million viewers, million listeners. You let one person dictate, your radio station? Really? And it's the same thing like this. How many people are really, are they really upset about that? When the comment was made, no one made any kind of, you don't see, and they have videos when she was talking with the officials. She was very calm and she wasn't ranting and raving, like a lunatic and then throwing out, F-bombs and stuff like that. No, she was just talking about the foul. It should have been a foul on Reese, not her girl. So there was no ill intent and no one took offense to it and no one cared. But the woke community gets involved with it, and she gets suspended a game. Then again, you make an Angel Reese be the sympathetic soul, and we don't want to do that. We're right. We don't want to do that. Protected species, not even endangered species. Protected species. What does that mean? If I'm a black person, I'm supposed to get offended by that, like that. At all the things, at all of the music industry, and like I said, in the movies. You can't turn on a movie with black actors and not hear the N-word 12,000 times. I can't watch that stuff. I really, honestly, I get so disgusted with it. It's like it's so insulting. You're letting, and then the rap stuff. But all right, but protected species, that's no good. Let me hear the next time I hear a rapper use protected species in a rap song, right? Oh, brother. Some football news. Did you see the Saquon Barkley's house got got burglarized? What is going on here? So, yeah, Barkley lives in the Philadelphia area, Pennsylvania. Never heard of this county. Tredyffrin Township, Treddyffrin. Tredyffrin? Anyway, I'm sure it's eastern Pennsylvania where Philadelphia is, right? So him and his family at the house, and two people, at least anyway, broke into their house at 5:00 in the morning. By the time they called the cops, by the time the cops there, the suspects had already left. I don't know if they saw them or they stole things or they just broke in and maybe heard some noise and ran out. Don't know. But they're searching for at least two suspects. Released a photo of a white SUV they believe is connected with the crime. So they don't know if this is tied into, remember Mahomes' house got broken into, Travis Kelce's house, Joey B's house got broken into, and 7 men have been charged with those cases. Don't know if this ties in with that, but I keep on saying this. I mean, Saquon Barkley, right, makes what? He doesn't make, Joey B and Kelce and Mahomes money, but I think he's up to like $15 million a year with the Eagles, is the last contract in that ballpark, right? And he's had a couple of years, with the Giants, he made good money. I'm sure he's got some endorsements. In fact, I know he's got endorsements. So he's probably pulling in a good $20 million a year, right? I would think conservatively. So I don't get with these guys. Go hire some security men. Man, this is what I would do. I don't need you in the afternoon. I'm home in the afternoon and, barring something crazy, I don't think anyone's stealing anything in the middle of the afternoon. But Joe Schmo, yeah, I need you at my house at 7:00. Stay from 7 to 7, maybe 8. Get the kids out to school, but about 12 hours. I'm going to pay you $100,000. What do I have to do? Nothing. Nothing? Nope. All you got to do, we'll supply a lawn chair. You sit in the front yard. Every once in a while, you get up. You walk in the backyard. You look around. Make sure everything is copacetic. Go back in the front yard. You want to bring a radio. You want to bring a camera. You want to bring a TV. You want to bring your phone. You want some food. I'll feed you. You're going to give me $100,000 to sit there and do nothing. Yeah. Just make sure you bring a gun. You know, got to be a former cop or something like that, security guy. And just watch over my house. I got kids here. Sometimes I'm here. Sometimes I'm not here. Maybe I'll hire a second guy. This way you can have a split shift. 7 days a week. Well, 5, you can kind of rotate. It would cost these guys $200,000 for peace of mind. When you're that rich and you have family members in your house and you have no doubt valuables in the house, there's too many nutcases out there. You don't know. I mean, that's all it would cost you. And I, without doing taxes, I would think that would be tax deductible somehow or another. So I don't understand why these guys don't do it. I mean, you don't have to be there during the day, just at night, or you want to hire a second person that is there during the day. Two guys round the clock. Hell, I do it. You want to give me $100,000 to sit there? Listen, my wife would do it because she's great at sitting around doing nothing. So I'll just speak for my family. I'm sure my wife would do it as well. But honestly, right? You're a multi-millionaire. What's a couple $100,000 for security purposes, right? Don't get it. Have you been following the at least looking at anyway, the Arizona story? Last one before we take another break here. So the Arizona Cardinals director of college scouting, Ryan Gold, has been suspended indefinitely by the NFL for violating the league's gambling policy. Now, he's going to appeal. First off, his lawyer says Ryan Gold has been an outstanding NFL executive for over a decade. Really? He's been with the Cardinals for 13 years. For the most part, the Cardinals have sucked. This guy's been in charge of drafting. Give me one guy, that they look back on and say, man, that was a steal in our draft, whether it's the wide receiver who's really not that good, whether it's Kyler Murray who sucked, whether, you name them all. Listen, you want to tell me your guy's innocent, okay, but don't tell me he's been an outstanding executive because he's been lousy, because the Cardinals have been lousy. But, okay, we'll let that pass. Accusations by the league regarding his participation in his prohibited gambling activities is blatantly false, his lawyer says. We've demanded an appeal and look forward to clearing his good name. So the story goes, apparently it was his wife, the lawyer anyway, says that his wife was making $10 weekly bets with a group of high school friends on parlays that Gold was not involved with. And then as far as he was accused of releasing some information about the draft, he says Gold couldn't have divulged the Cardinals draft picks because he didn't know who they were picking, and that only team owner Michael Bidwell and GM Monte Osenfort did. Listen, that may be, those two guys may have made the last call, but you have a general idea. You're not stupid. You're the draft guy. You're the director of college scouting. You know who you're recommending and who you're telling them to stay away from. You know who they're listening to you about and who they're kind of fighting you on. You may not have the actual pick, but you could certainly say, hey, listen, they're staying away from this guy, that guy, and they really like this guy. So don't use that as a reason. So, but he apparently gave out information. No, that's the thing. It's not necessarily you making the bets. The NFL and these other teams and leagues have done the right thing, and they've said if you release information pertaining to betting to somebody else, you're just as guilty. Simple as that. It's like robbing a bank, and your buddy decides to kill somebody. You're up for murder charges as well, even though you didn't pull the trigger. So same thing here. He wants to label it off on his wife making $10 bets. I doubt the NFL is that concerned, at least not to this point. And if she was, I got a feeling the NFL would go to Gold and say, listen, dude, your wife is betting on these parlay bets, with a bunch of high school friends, tell her to stop, please. We'll just nip this in the bud right now. No big deal, but she can't do that. If her friends want to do it, knock herself out, but she can't live in your household do it. She just can't, because no doubt you're telling her some information. It's a bad look. I'm sure they would have done that versus throw the hammer on him right away and suspend him indefinitely like they've done. So, yeah, the lawyer could say all he wants. It gets involved with everybody who's gambling, whether you're a player, whether you're a GM, whether you're the owner. Who knows? Who knows? The thrill and the enticement of getting, in their eyes, free money. And believe, I've been gambling for 30 years. I know what it feels like. I know what the hooks are. No matter how much money you make, or no matter how much you're risking in your life, you just can't. It's thrown in your face all the time. All the time. You can't watch a game now without a gambling ad. And when you can never have too much money, as the saying goes. So no matter how much you make, when you know the answer to something and you could get paid for that, like there was a story last week. I meant to bring it up on Friday. The teleprompter guy for Donald Trump, right? He's the one that types the speech into the teleprompter for Trump's speeches, right? He got caught on, I think it was Kalshi, not Polymarket. I think it was Kalshi. He got caught making bets, winning $100,000 on how many times Trump would say Biden or whatever in a speech, because he knew he was typing the speech into the teleprompter. Now, that's a great job, easy job. I'm sure he's making a great living, right? But not good enough. You mean to tell me I can make a bet on Kalshi, $100,000 worth, on how many times Trump's going to say Biden, and I got it right here in the script 15 times, and the over-under on Kalshi is 11.5? Ooh, let me make the bet, right? So, and everyone is eligible to be bought. It's as simple as that. Sad as it is, but it's as simple as that. So I don't doubt this Cardinal guy is guilty as sin, no matter what his lawyer says. So quick little break. We got some Tom's best football teams to never win a Super Bowl. Some Michigan news and Magic, or not Magic, but Bird versus Michael Jordan. Finish that up next, right here on the Scott Wetzel Show.
Hi, golfers. IndyCar Tim here. I want to talk to you a little bit about Golf Central Magazine. It's not just a golf magazine. It's the magazine for everything: turf, travel, philanthropy, and lifestyle. Head over to golfcentralmag.com and check out the latest issue. Some of the regular features in Golf Central Magazine: the Golf Bachelorette of the Month, the Golf Bachelor of the Month, the Golf Cart Girl of the Month, Golf History, Grip It, and Sip It. So head over to golfcentralmag.com. It's free. It's the magazine for everything: turf, travel, philanthropy, and lifestyle. Golf Central Magazine at golfcentralmag.com. We'll see you there.
Hey folks, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center, a very different kind of approach to primary care. Personalized preventative medicine, not a one-pill-fits-all mentality. Christopher Lugo and his experienced medical staff are proactive in looking at issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. Rather than the impersonal, rushed approach, you will be the only patient and will have our full attention. That's new. Getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. Bay Area Modern Medical Centers are experts in anti-aging regenerative medicine that optimizes your body's performance in many areas. So call for an appointment to get started on a journey back to full health and a happy life with a new, modern way of healthcare. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com.
Today's show is brought to you by Tomstown, a premier craft distillery based in Kansas City, Missouri. Discover their award-winning lineup, including double oaked bourbon, botanical gin, and double grain vodka, named the best craft vodka by the readers of USA Today. Available for online delivery in 40 states. Visit toms-town.com or their Kansas City distillery to explore more. Elevate your game with Tomstown, where history meets innovation. Please enjoy responsibly.
Hello, folks. Let's talk a little bit about turf life. And what is turf life? It's pretty much if your life involves turf in any way, shape, or form, you live the turf life. Go ahead and brand yourself with the turf life. Maybe a back window decal, maybe a hat. You know where you can get those kinds of things to showcase that your life revolves around sports and or anything that involves sports. If it's a sports business or sports education or just your enjoyment of the outdoors, head over to turflifeclub.com. Become a turf head. Join the club today. You can do that by going to that said website that I just told you to go to. You can snag your window decal like I was talking about, or any of your other turf life accessories. Show everybody that you live the turf life, and we'll see you there over there at that turflifeclub.com.
Although it may seem tempting to go without health care insurance, the financial risk far outweighs the gain you may experience. For example, did you know if you simply broke your leg, it could cost you nearly $7,500? Put on top of that a hospital stay, you could be looking at $10,000 to $15,000. Ensuring that you don't go uncovered is so important, as according to CNBC, high medical bills are the highest contributing factor to why Americans end up taking money out of their retirement savings, or worse, find themselves filing bankruptcy. So go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. Now, depending on your income, you can get plans for zero premium. Our experts will guide you through the process effortlessly. They will shop many plans and find the one that's right for you. I called and I have full health coverage through Florida Blue for zero monthly premium. It's a free call. So why go uncovered? It's a huge risk. Go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. That's 800-669-1505.
Orion Golf Management Solutions. Orion Management Solutions has tailored its service packages just like it tailors its approach to customers. Some owners need more supervision, while others need periodic assessment of their short-term and long-term strategies and programs. Orion can be called in to develop a business plan with the existing staff, or we can assist with the daily management of a facility or event. Either way, we make sure the client is satisfied and understands the direction the facility needs to go in order to achieve the owner's goals. Orion Management Solutions can help with owner assistance service solutions, daily course management, business plan development, monthly operations, or as-needed consulting services. Whatever your need, Orion Golf Management Solutions can help. Check out oriongolf.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Hi, welcome back. It is the Scott Wetzel Show on this Monday, July 20th. Getting set for the Red Sox 14th straight win later on tonight. Although I must say, I did put the black cloud on them. Sometimes the black cloud can be used intentionally. Other times, more times than not, it's unintentional. It is what it is. So they're going for their 14th straight win. Did we bet them against the Yankees to start this little streak? No. Did we bet them against the Angels? No. Did we bet them against the White Sox? No. Did we bet them against the Mets? I think we bet them against the Mets, but not a big bet. Did we bet them against Tampa Bay, on the other side of the All-Star break? Not really. Small little bet on Saturday, but nothing crazy. This is the first time we're using the Red Sox as a best bet. So 13 straight wins. I won't even figure out if you bet $100 and you kept on doubling it where you would be, right? That's a lot of bettors like to do goofy things like that. Like, you would never do that bet anyway, right? But if you bet $100 straight up, you'd be at least $1,400, and a lot of times they were underdogs. I must say. So this is the first time full unit on the Red Sox tonight. So be careful, people. I'm warning you right now. The Wetzel Black Cloud is a pretty dangerous thing. So let's hope that the run continues. How about the NFL? Did you see this little story? This has been kind of talked about before, but just basically blown away. And that is making an extra point for a field goal of 60 yards. Instead of making a three-pointer, it's now going to be, the proposal would be make it worth 4 points. Thinking, all right, 60-yard field goal, that's pretty damn good, right? It should be more than worth 3 points. And a 21-yard field goal is 3. Then why shouldn't, much like a three-pointer in the NBA, right? I don't know if it's really going to – it's going to be used in the USFL or UFL, whatever they're calling themselves these days, the UFL. I think they're using it this summer. But I'm not a big proponent of changing rules that really make it drastically different. And they were talking to Aubrey of the Cowgirls about this. And he said, and I think he's right, he said, yeah, then you'd get some teams that, instead of being 55-yard field goal, that they would lose 5 yards somehow or another. Well, you delay a game, as simple as that. Take a delay game penalty. Make it a 60-yarder for an extra point. And you don't want that. Anything that would lead to the mockery of the game, then you can't have. Now, could they do like baseball does with intentional ball 4 and just tell the official, listen, we want it 5 yards back? Simple as that. I guess they could, but you couldn't go from the 53-yard line. Well, 43. You couldn't go from the 43-yard line and make it a 60-yard field goal by going back 7 yards. You have to use increments of 5. So you got to go to the 48, and then you're going to go to the 53 or 53, whatever it would be, right? But even then, I wouldn't, I wouldn't like that. If anything, you know what? Make the field goals narrower. That would be the easiest way of stopping some of these field goals, because with the new kickoff rules, I mean, you're basically in field goal range, after 2 first downs. Simple as that. So I hope they don't do that. I really do. But it's being looked at. It is definitely being looked at. And like I said, the United Football League is using it this summer. If you follow on internet, Tom Brady is really he's getting into this little spat with Logan Paul. I think we're done with Logan Paul, Tom. Certainly he needs you more than you need him. You got all the money in the world. You're making what, $15-20 million a year with ABC or Fox, whatever network it is, doing games. They're having this little running feud, which is going to lead to either a WWE fight, more than likely, or actually a boxing match, which I don't think would be the case, but it's embarrassing. It's really. And I try to let someone, tell them how to live their own lives. I got enough issues with mine. People like to say those things, but on Twitter you can see all these videos. He slapped him at a press conference. I mean, come on, stop. Don't belittle yourself, right? I mean, I'm not a WWE fan. I hate it. I probably hate that more than I do soccer, to tell you the truth. That's how mad, that's how bad I think of the WWE and all that wrestling crap. Really, you know what? If I had to watch a soccer match for a half hour or WWE or wrestling, yeah, I'd probably watch soccer. I really would. So it's embarrassing. Really, you're the greatest quarterback maybe of all time. What are you doing? And you're doing it with dopey Jake Paul anyway. So I saw this video, speaking of football. 3 guys, Randy Moss, Chris Carter, Jake Reed, all on that 1998 NFC Championship team, which they lost to the Atlanta Falcons in overtime. They had a chance to go up 6, if memory serves me right, with a late field goal, which really would have put the game out of reach. Instead, they missed. Opened the door for the Atlanta Falcons and then marched down the field in the final seconds, which they did. They kick a field goal, they go to overtime, and the Falcons end up winning the game. One of the best teams. But interesting to hear the 3 guys discuss what happened that day.
The missed field goal.
Out of 4 quarters and 70, 80-something snaps, they only talk about the missed field goal?
I only talk about the missed field goal. So much happened in that game. And the field goal wasn't the reason we lost the game. Just know that.
Okay.
A lot of things happened.
That's why I said out of all the plays, the field goal was the play that lost us the game.
We could have took a knee at halftime, right, Chris?
I recommended going for it because the coach always asked me, Brian Billick asked me, hey, I was like, yeah, we got them on the run. Yeah, let's take a couple plays, see if we can get a couple first downs and attack them, because that was the mode of the season. We had broke the NFL record.
And that's when the fumble happened, right?
And yeah, Randall Cunningham, they fumbled. Chuck Smith, Atlanta Falcons, your boy Chuck.
Yeah, and they was dead in the water.
Then they scored. Yeah, we were up 10 then, so now we got
Hold on, Chris, wait a minute, time out. You told Brian Billick do what?
To go for it.
To go for what?
right before halftime to attack. I think it was 48 seconds to go.
So we could easily blame you
And
for
we
that,
got the
right?
ball. No, you can.
Yeah, you're the reason we damn lost. The hell you talking about?
Yeah.
You told Brian Billick to go with it, and Chuck Smith done stripped the man. And
Yeah.
man,
Yeah. The reason why I told him to go for it,
okay,
was because your ass was on the okay. You were in the game too. You act like you was.
I know I was on fire,
like you was
but
up in the
brother,
boxer seat.
sometimes you live to fight another day. You heard about that one?
Just so you know, I didn't play that game.
Moss, you
I was
had
out
him
with back
terrified.
surgery.
So I thought we could put the game out of reach the same way we had attacked people all season.
Right.
Now, I didn't know Todd Stussy, the left tackle, was going to not block a guy.
Yeah.
I can recommend plays. I can do something personnel. But guess what? I can't do your job for you. We all got work to do.
Yeah.
Block your fucking man. How about that?
That's pretty good. I like those little clips when you hear these players talk about things, right? So I've forgotten about that. They were up 20-7, and they had a chance. I get, the Falcons ended up scoring with about a minute left, so it couldn't have been like that little time. There had to have been a good minute and change left. So which 9 times out of 10, a team will go for or try and score. So they end up turning the ball over, which leads to a Falcon touchdown. So instead of being up 20-7 or maybe even 23-7, Minnesota's only up 20-14. Ball game on. And then at the end of the game, they missed a field goal, and that would have made it a 10-score game, ball game over. But they missed the field goal, kept it a 7-score game. Falcons came down the field in the final minute, 16-yard touchdown pass. They tied the game. They go to overtime, and then they win in overtime. I don't know if they I'd have to look up the play-by-play to see if Minnesota actually got the ball in overtime. I don't think they did. I think Atlanta won the coin toss, if memory serves me right, and then scored a field goal, and that was the end of that. I must say, out of all the new rules, I've grown accustomed to liking that double. Not that I ever hated it, but I do like the fact both teams now get the ball in overtime. It doesn't seem fair, a little coin toss. I've always said whoever got the ball last at the end of regulation, kept the ball to start the overtime. Just let it go to overtime, simple as that. That to me would be the easiest. But that Viking team, 3 teams, which is why I bring it up, right, football-wise. By the way, that was Chasing 10 with Randy Moss. That was the little video show that he does. Best team that never won a Super Bowl, it's got to be the Patriots. 18-0, going for the perfect record. And they lose to the Giants with the helmet catch, David Tyree and all that other stuff. You think about the quarterback that they had, Tom Brady and all the Hall of Famers that were on that team, including Randy Moss was on that team, if you remember. That's probably number one. It's got to be number one, right? Number 2 would be my Dolphins team, which I still say is probably the greatest Super Bowl that was never played. And that was the year, remember the Super Bowl shuffle and all that stuff? And the Dolphins beat the Bears in regulation on that Monday night game, right? So they were going to play again in the Super Bowl. Bears get there. I think they beat the Rams 20-0, if memory serves me right. Dolphins lose to the Patriots. Tony Eason, at home no less. They were 14-2. They were a great team. One of my worst losses as a kid. I still don't know how they didn't win that football game, but they didn't. And then this Vikings team, the 15-1 the regular season, something like that. 15-1, finished up with 2 losses. The difference, their quarterback Randall Cunningham, we got Tom Brady and you got Dan Marino and then you got Cunningham. Good quarterback, but that's what kind of separates the 3 teams. But those are to me the 3 best teams. And oddly enough, Randy Moss was on 2 of the teams. Right? One of the best. And he might be, to me, Jerry Rice is always going to be 1, but I think Randy Moss is the 2nd best wide receiver I've ever seen. He was great. He was just great. And just never got that ring, though. Lost with the Patriots and lost with the Vikings there. So, Michigan news. AD Ward Manuel stepping down at the end of the season or end of the calendar year. They had this independent investigation that basically said Michigan is a bunch of cheaters, widespread athletic department scandals left and right, blah, 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 blah. Listen, he should be stepping down right now. the bottom line is he's as guilty as sin. That whole athletic program is guilty as sin. Whether it's the football program with Harbaugh or the football program with Moore or the basketball program with Juwan Howard or the basketball program with even recently, despite winning the national championship, that has just been a scandal-ridden athletic department. So he should be out of a job right now. Over the weekend, you see this? Wetzel won.
3:43.19, don't forget. Here he goes. I think he's going to do it. Keep going, Josh. Keep going, Josh. It's a world record. Get in. Get in. Oh, my word. He said I can do it. He said I will do it. I'm telling you I'm going to do it. I'm telling you when I'm going to do it. I'm telling you where I'm going to do it. And he's done it. Crikey.
Wow. BBC there. A mile in 3 minutes and 42 seconds. 0.66. 3 minutes and 42 seconds. That is 4 times. You go to a high school football field, college, whatever, the track they have around the field, that's 4 times around the track in less than 4 minutes. That's, less than about 55, 56 seconds around the track. 4 times in a row, nonstop. I mean, that is really like, back in my heyday, naturally I could do it if I really wanted to. Who knew, right? But record stood for 27 years. I remember the 4-minute mile, reading about that. 3 minutes and 42 seconds. Josh Kerr, Scottish athlete. I don't know where that was from, but that is amazing. Next time you go to a game, 1,700 yards in a mile. That is going up and down the football field 17 times in 3 minutes and 42 seconds. That puts it into perspective, right? I mean, that's freaking nuts. That is really just nuts. All right, we started this debate, Jordan versus Magic, right? So every day on Twitter, maybe it's people I follow, I don't know, but I'm getting all these it's the offseason in the NBA. And I told you before, the most popular season in the NBA is the offseason. So I'll give you one Jordan and I'll give you one Magic story. You can decide which one is better. I had a couple of Jordans. In fact, I had 3 Jordan stories, including one tomorrow I'll use with David Blaine, if you know who he is. So here is we'll give you the Jordan one first, I suppose, right? Let me, hold on a second. Let me find out which one I got here. I got both of them. All right, here's the Jordan story. This is from a former Orlando Magic player. I'm not sure exactly who it is, to tell you the truth.
Hey, Michael Jordan there. That's when Nick Anderson stole the ball. To this day, until I saw Last Dance, I did not know Nick Anderson said 45 is not 23. Oh, Lord. I would have said, man, what is you doing? You don't get this man no feel. Game 2, never forget. He comes out, keeps his top on. Wearing number 45, Michael Jordan, kept his top on. Boy, both teams broke out of the huddles, coming to the court. I saw 2-3. I said, oh, Lord, we in trouble. Superman's in the building, backcat, whatever you want to call him. We in trouble tonight. They won game 2. They played us. They swept us. I never forget this, and you can go back and look at the stat sheet. Jordan had 2 free throws at the end of the game. He hit the first one and missed the second one on purpose. Somebody said, look at the scoreboard. He left 45 on the scoreboard.
That's pretty good. I'm not sure what Orlando Magic player that was, but yeah. So you imagine they challenging Michael Jordan. 45. His old uniform number was 23. Then when he came back out of retirement, he switched it to 45 for whatever reason. So that's where the 45 on the scoreboard was. All right, so that's our Michael Jordan one. Here's one on Larry Bird with John Sally, Detroit Pistons.
We got in the game one time, and for some reason Chuck Daly puts me in. And Larry, was between Len Bias and myself to be drafted to the Celtics. Larry knew me since I was a sophomore, because we would go up there. It's not illegal to go up and be at a camp in Marshville, in Boston, and you work in a camp, but really you're there to play against those nighttime games. So Larry knew who I was. And I get in, Chuck Daly has me starting one time. And Larry looks around and goes, "What's up, Sal?" I said, "No." He goes, "Are you on me?" I said, "Yeah, I got size on you right now. I've been watching every movie." He goes, "Y'all not double teaming?" And he's looking around. He goes, "Yo." I go, "Nah, it's just me, fella." He goes, "Mouse in the house." And they change the play, and he catches the ball. He does this, and he shoots it. He says, "Sal, you better ask for a double team, bro." and he was always in shape, and he hated Bill Laimbeer. So when you got a guy that hates somebody, he's playing for entirely different.
There you go. I'm telling you, man, that's all you get. I mean, I guess if you Google certain people, then you'll get those stories. But just in general, the two guys that I get stories about all the time, Michael and Bird. That's it. You get some Kobe stuff now, but all the other all-time, Kareem, Shaq, pick any, Magic. You really don't. You really, I mean, these two are like by far the most. So I'll try and come up with one of those each day. So Larry and John Sally there. So did you see this? I'll leave you with this. Speaking of wrestling, right? Now, but this one I actually like. Karl Anthony Towns in the ring at Madison Square Garden this weekend. Oops, hold on.
9 feet in the air. And now Cat with Dominic Mysterio. And alley-oop to the table. Didn't even take his sunglasses off, Cole.
All right, we missed the beginning of it here.
And now Danhausen sticking Cat on J.D. McDonough. A slam dunk choke slam. 9 feet in the air. And now Cat with Dominic Mysterio. And alley-oop to the table. Didn't even take his sunglasses off, Cole.
That's actually pretty good, and I hate wrestling. I told you how much I hate wrestling, right? But that was actually, I mean, Cat, had the stern look and just no expression, just grab the guy, like Herman Munster and throw him up in the air. And he's grabbing them by their necks. I mean, I know the guys are jumping. I get that. But you still have to, push up on the guy's neck. I've said this about wrestling. As goofy as it is, and we all know it's rigged and all that other stuff, right? And there's no more debate about that stuff. But that doesn't mean these guys don't get hurt. That they do, and the pain and the things that they have to go through for these matches and stuff, they are getting absolutely hurt, and that was pretty good. Being slammed through a table that is a breakable table, I'm sure, but still you're still falling to the ground. You're still jumping up in the air, 3-4 feet in the air for goodness sakes, and by your neck. So definitely goofy, but that was. I'd rather have that than dopey Skattebo with the New York Giants. You see him doing a backflip? Well, what an idiot. Well, these football players are just stupid. He's at the Fanatics Fest, and he's on stage, and for whatever reason, in his introduction, he decides to do a backflip. This is the guy that broke his leg last year and had ankle surgery. And here he is on stage doing a backflip, and he tumbles over, almost falls to the ground. When they asked him about it, he just said, "Well, that's just me. I'm going to be me." That's like Jackson Dart. Same thing, about Jackson Dart getting hurt all the time. And they asked him, "Listen, dude, you're the star quarterback of the New York Giants. You got to, you can't play the way you played at Ole Miss." No, that's me. That's me. So you got two of the most important guys on the Giant offense acting like bird brains. And then you got the third guy, their wide receiver neighbors, who's hurt. It's a little early for over-unders, but I'm not betting over with this New York Giant team. You can't be that stupid and good. You won't survive. You won't. So, all right, baseball tonight. Tell you, we're going to put the black cloud on the Red Sox. So that's going to be our main play. I do like the Milwaukee Brewers tonight as well. Mizorowski's on the hill. I know he missed his last start, a little extra day off and this and that, but the Mets are in town. Now, you do have Freddie Peralta on the hill, and that's generally good news, but don't forget where he played before he joined the Mets, right? Milwaukee Brewers for a number of years. So he might be extra pumped up, but he's still 5-8 with an ERA well over 4.5. He sucks this year for whatever reason. So I'll take the Brewers with Mizorowski on the hill. And I'll tell you, just for a little hunch play, you're not going to get the, Christopher Sanchez minus 150 too often for the Phillies at home. It's hosting the Dodgers, but it's Sheehan, who's, mediocre at best for LA. And LA had a doubleheader against the Stankies yesterday. So, and the night game went well past 11 o'clock. That was a late game. So this is a real tough spot for LA. No Ohtani as well. He's got knee issues, so he's going to miss the entire series. So Dodgers don't have their best player. They're all tired after playing 2 games yesterday. They got to hop on a bus. I don't know. Do you fly from New York to Philadelphia? It's only really a 2.5-hour drive. I don't know if they would get on a plane or a bus or whatever, but still they got to make the trip down to Philadelphia. It's a 7 o'clock game, early game. They probably didn't get into Philadelphia until 3 o'clock in the morning. So now you're facing Christopher Sanchez as well. Yeah, that's a real tough spot for LA. So those are the 3 that I really like. Red Sox, Milwaukee, lay the 1.5, and then Philadelphia Phillies. And then WNBA today, you don't really have too much. You got 4 games. I'm going to take a little flyer on Golden State. It's over now. 147.5. All right, I'll still do it. It was 145.5 earlier today. They just played the other day, and it went under the number the other day. What was the final score? 74-69, so 143 points. So, I mean, that's still under the 146.5, 147.5. What does FanDuel have it as? That it's posted at right now. But that's tough to get back-to-back low-scoring games like that. 146.5, yeah. That's real tough to get to. That's a super low number. That's like 195 in an NBA game these days. So I got a funny feeling that it'll sneak over. It won't be a high-scoring game, but I think it goes over that 146.5. So that's our WNBA play. Liberty played tonight. They're laying 5.5 against Dallas. Probably no Paige Beckers. But Liberty played yesterday, or Dallas played yesterday. So that's another reason why that line's as high as it is. But I still wouldn't bet Dallas or the Liberty. Certainly, I wouldn't bet the Liberty. If anything, I'd bet Dallas. So, but we'll go over 146.5 Washington and Golden State. So, let's check our YouTube chat board here. Rodriguez of the Mariners, Scott, Richard, Sherman, both have been burglarized. More people burglarized. Yeah, there's been a bunch. You're right. I forgot about the Sherman. I remember that one. And A-Royd. Not A-Royd. I shouldn't say that. A-Rod. Yeah, you're right about that. I don't know why. Why wouldn't they just get security, right? I mean, just a couple $100,000. Like I said, it's got to be tax deductible. With all the valuables you have in your house and it seems a shame you need to do stuff like that, but man, I know I would. That's for sure. Let's go to the Twitter page, and I got David sending me a connection request for LinkedIn. All right, sports marketing, sports media management. We'll take a peek at that. But otherwise, nothing else. And then one last check of let's go to our Twitter page. Cute little thing. Bryson DeChambeau asking the President Trump to get involved. Such the funny things. And I mean, nowadays you got to really be careful. There's so much AI on Twitter that you can't even really see that, which was real and which is not real. Anything else? Nah, I think PJ Tucker thinks the Celtics won the Jaylen Brown trade. Yeah, well, that shows you why you're PJ Tucker, if you think that. No, that's about it. So, all right, good job by everyone. Do appreciate I always want to say phone calls, but we'll get phone calls up and running for sure. One of these days, we're hopefully by football season, we'll be able to take some phone calls. In the meantime, follow me on YouTube. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. That allows you to go back and forth with myself. You want to check out the podcast, go to the website, oppositepicks.com, oppositepicks.com. You want to check out all our previous shows right here, fanstreamsports.com. It's got all the shows. We've been doing it now for a couple of weeks now. I know we got a bunch of new viewers today, so I do appreciate that. And every day, Monday through Friday, 2 to at least 3:30. As we get a little closer to football season, we'll probably go 2 hours, 2 to 4 o'clock, but 2 to 3:30 at least. Videos and all kind of goofy things, to keep you guys entertained. So enjoy the rest of your Monday. Be safe, and we'll talk to you tomorrow right here on the Scott Wetzel Show.